Hey everyone, the fair would start about 8 o'clock and then wait for Stuntman to come in. He's on the way, but this way to say hi to people in the chat before we start. Thanks go out to Predminator once again for the request. Thank you so much for that. Hey there to whether it be Cole, Lord Cosmo, RJ, Dark Metal Spider. Hello everyone. So hope everybody's doing okay. Hey Caleb and Jeremy Power. Hey DJ Donnelly. Again, just waiting for a few minutes. Stuntman is on the way. So fair, I would say hi to people. Hey there, Bobby. Hope everyone's doing okay. Bear in mind, for the next couple months, there'll be a lot of business on my end. So whenever I do streams, if there's times where I have to mute the mic, maybe even mute the cam for a couple minutes, then there's stuff I have to do a minute or two or three that I come back. So if you're wondering in the future, how come, hey, you muted, or how come there's no cam? Like you could do this, and then you could do this. So sometimes I'm just gonna be busy doing stuff, and then I'll come back. Just a lot of stuff that happens. So just bear in mind in the future, especially during the spring to throughout the summertime, things get busy around here. So I didn't just a forewarning in case you ever see these streams later on and you go again. Yeah, there's a slow mo because there was spam. There was literally spam. Someone would come in and I forget. People were in the chat on that day. Do you remember what the person was saying? They were saying like the same line over and over again, like every 5 milliseconds. But yeah, I don't know if anyone was there on that day. There was like someone that came in, they literally spammed the chat, and anytime you blocked the person, they came back with another spam in the chat. It was like a certain line of dialogue. I don't know whoever was there, if they remember. Hey there, Belinda. Yeah, people remember that. I don't know if anyone remembers what the line was or who the person was, but yeah, so that's why I have to do slow mode now. And Mr. Buggles, that's what it was. There you go. It was spam in the chat. So that's why I have to do slow mo from now on. But again, Stuntman Marq is on the way. It'll be a few minutes. But again, this way to say hi to people. Um, we will be doing the theatrical cut. Hey, the movie review next door. Thank you for your kind words. Doing okay, Peter Freaked Out. Like I said before, from here to throughout the summer, whenever I do streams, there may be time to time I will mute the mic and the cam will be turned off for like a minute or two because I'll be busy doing other stuff. Then I'll come back into the stream. So again, in the future, if you're wondering what's going on, that's from here onward. That's why it gets very busy during like from here to like September. So and streams will be normal, but again, there may be from time to time. So if anyone in the chat goes, "What's going on?" You guys could explain. That would help me out a bit. Um, yeah, Alien 4, I'm not a fan of this movie. I think Stuntman Marv likes it more than me. I mean, it's not as bad as Alien 3, I'll give you that, but still not a good movie. But yeah, we'll be doing the theatrical cut, and this is a pay request from Preminator. Thank you so much for that. And um, Stuntman, I mean, I got a message from Stuntman Marq. He said he was on the way. He said on the way, and that was at about 7:55. So someone might have come up. We'll wait a few more minutes. Oh, speak to the devil, just in time.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. I was just explaining to the chat, like, from here to like September, whenever I do streams, this happened the other night. Sometimes there'll be times I'll have to mute the mic or cam, and I gotta do things for like a minute or two, but then I come back. That happened with me, Uncle Bill. I had to get some stuff done. So from here to like sort of things get a lot busier around here. So I did for people wondering what's going on, what's happened. Don't worry, nothing's wrong. I'll be back. It just sometimes that happens from time to time, just how life is. But thanks for coming by, man. This will be fun. But how are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm good, man. I'm all good. I got no
Great
complaints.
job on the crow stuff. Got that crow video out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Finally, I know. Yeah. Took me forever to get that one edited. Yeah, I got some more just like that coming. So for anybody that's in here that's like sub to me, stay tuned. Oh, what's up, Pred?
Yeah, thank you once again, man.
Oh
And
yeah.
thank you, Bobby. I know you too. Well, I think Mark likes him more than me, and he does have good points. Not as bad as Alien 3. It isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'm ranking it, I would watch it over Alien 3. I would watch this over the first AVP at the very least, Alien
Yeah.
vs Predator. I would probably watch this over Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I probably would. Oh, cool. By the way, thank you, Bobby. Yeah, I mean, Aliens is one of my favorites of all time. Cool arc, very nice.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate the sub, man.
Uh, no, I'm not going to. I'm just saying a precursor that I still think this film sucks. For a lot of different reasons. Uh, we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your initial thoughts on the film?
I can't disagree with anything that you just said. Um, it is a lot better than Alien 3. Um, not by much though. Um, it's a movie where like you have a bunch of really talented actors, like Brad Dourif, of course Sigourney Weaver comes back, Winona Ryder. I love Michael Wincott, even though he's
Yeah.
killed off way too early in the movie. I never really got that. Just a whole like great cast. Like I think maybe that's part of why I can tolerate this one more than the others. Um, I like so many people in the cast, man. Like I wish they were utilized better. Um, there's some fun scenes. I like the underwater sequence. Um, like it kind of breezes by. Like I don't think it drags too much. Um, I
Hmm.
think the biggest thing is like, because like I look at the first four movies as like their own thing. Even though Prometheus and Alien Covenant, it's prequel stuff, but I never really lump them in. And then of course the AVP stuff is like unto itself, like of course. So if I have the first four, like I'll never watch three. Like, and I love David Fincher. Um,
Yeah.
but that movie, it's trying too hard to have the claustrophobic feel of the first movie. They're all in prison. So it's one location, one alien, and it doesn't really feel original. Like it's too much of like them trying to replicate the first movie. And it's like it's got the
Hmm.
biggest freaking plot hole of like any alien movie. Like it's the most obvious thing. Like they're in a building, a prison essentially is still a building. Just go outside. Why did no one leave the prison? Just leave the alien in there and go to the rest of the planet. Like I never got that. So I don't know.
Yeah, they never did explain why they didn't just leave it. Yeah, that's a true point. I never even thought of that until now, but that's actually a pretty good point. Um, well, quick, like, thank you, Haywood. I would love to ask. I mean, maybe another day, Haywood. I want to ask you about your training with Jeff Wincott because but I like both of them. Jeff Wincott, martial artist, Last Man Standing, some PM Entertainment films, and then yeah, Michael Wincott's always been a good actor. and lives 30 minutes from you, that's really cool. Thank you, man.
Nice.
That's really neat.
That
And
is
then
cool.
training martial arts, that's also. But yeah, we'll be watching theatrical cut. For me, it's trying to put a band-aid on a broken skull. It's already dead. The
Hmm.
motherfucker's already brain damaged, and the band-aid is worn out. And it's
Okay.
just, I mean, we'll get it, but you're trying to give me an Ellen Ripley, but it's not Ellen Ripley, and I have zero reason to care about her. I get it's the whole distrust thing, but I never really bought that she would be, villainous. And she just came off as
Right.
unlikable. And then Winona Ryder, I know she's playing an android, but she just felt very wooden compared to like Lance Henriksen
Hmm.
in the Aliens. And I like Ron Perlman. He's a fun dick, but he's playing the dick.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to root for anybody.
Hmm.
And then it has this weird thing with the gore, like it's trying to do the comedic Peter Jackson gore, like the guy picking the brain out of his head.
Right.
And I don't know if that works the best with Alien, at least for me. I
Hmm.
mean, right, it's something different. And then the monster at the end, the chupacabra looking motherfucker that originally they had a penis on, and then they realized this is a bit much.
And a
I
vagina.
thought that was just, yeah, I thought that was a bit a step too far.
Okay.
Oh, hey, man, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, Garrett?
How you doing, Garrett? But yeah, I mean, the fact is, like I said, it is better than Alien 3, but again, it's just CGI xenomorphs. They were incorporating more and more of that into it, although there's some good practical.
That's true. Yeah.
Again, Beatty Sigourney Weaver, like, she wanted her character killed off, but it's like, hey, you got $11 million? I'll come
Hmm.
back.
Yeah, that's right. It was a
Yeah,
big payday for her. That's right.
it's like, so you wanted her killed off, that it's like, You could you could have said you could have not done that, still get paid 11 million and have like a better finale. And it's just
Hmm.
now I'm gonna play a clone that why should I feel sorry for this character? Why am I supposed to root for this character? What what are the elements that are supposed to make me care about her predicament?
Would you
Uh,
have rather them gone with the initial idea of it being Newt being the central character without Ripley at all, or would that not have mattered either way? Thanks.
hey, uh, Newt.
Because I know you're. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us. I think it's safe to say everybody in the chat loves Aliens the most, um, and all the characters from that are. I mean, that's the subliminal piece right there. Like, it's an untouchable film in terms of how great it
It,
is.
I think it would depend on how it was written
Okay.
and how it was filmed, because I don't think this director was the right fit. Again,
Hmm.
with the weird sense of humor the film has at times,
Hmm.
the the look of the film is like everything looks like it's drenched in shit. Everything's like brown.
The
Everything's
monochromatic, like,
covered in, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
had you seen any of his films previous? Like,
real quick, like this is not my fault, opinion junkie. I didn't do that. It's not my fault. Wish him the best. It's not my fault. But it's seriously wish him the best. Thanks for the super chat. I mean, I like his movies, but I don't want anyone to go through that in seriousness. So,
yeah,
wish
that's
him the best.
really
Didn't even know
unfortunate.
about that.
I saw that earlier today.
I
That's awful.
I didn't even know about that till that super chat. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. But sorry, you were saying we were talking about Newt, and yeah, everything looks like it's drenched in shit.
Hmm.
I don't think that's a nice look for a film. It's not aesthetically pleasing to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But
some of his
yeah, go
other
ahead.
movies are really solid. I like what is it, Amelie and Delicatessen, but
Hmm.
I think a lot of it was like I did see that they gave him creative control, so I think you're right about that. He probably just wasn't the best guy for the job. Not a bad director, but um yes, Nick, I can believe that it cost 70 million.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
Although some of the ship models look a bit, for me, a bit like Roger Corman. But let's be right into it. We're like, I have a pause at the beginning. We'll be doing a theatrical cut. For anyone who has the movie up and going, let me know when you're ready, Preminator. Let me know when you're ready, Stuntman. Or if you
What?
have anything to say before, go for it.
No. Anything else? I'm gonna say we could just jump into it during the actual uh, watching the movie. What time do you have for the director's cut? I'm not sure. I'm watching a stream of it, so I'm not sure which one I have here.
Well, I have the theatrical cut on. It's 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Okay, let me check the running time on this one. Of course, this is the director's cut.
Well, I could go to the director's cut. I mean,
Okay.
if that's all you have, I could go to. So change the plan. I gotta go to the menu. It'll be the director's cut. Where are you watching it on? For those who may ask, where you watching the film on?
This is 1 second. Let me go to the site. I'm on a different tab. I have a stream from. This is Amazon.
Amazon Stream. So Amazon Streams only has the director's cut.
They might have the theatrical, but I didn't even search it out.
Okay, so let me I gotta restart my the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to switch to it. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference. There's like again, like two little extra scenes, one at the very beginning, one at the very end. That's why I don't understand why they even. I mean, maybe because the others had it, extended cut. So it's like, well, this guy had one too. But there's, like you said, two little differences.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, thank you, Bobby. While I do that, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so you're ranking both Predator and Alien films. I would put Alien Resurrection above AVP and Prometheus. The Predator I would put at the bottom. That might be the worst of all of them. I don't know. I would say it's the worst of them, even more than Alien Covenant. Like of the ones you listed in your list. No, Alien 3 is the worst, of course. That's number one, but
yeah,
Alien 3 is the worst. But yeah, I'm just getting to the 20th Century Fox logo, which is no longer around. It's weird seeing that now because Disney bought them up.
Yep.
Fuck Disney. Can I just say it again? Fuck Disney. God. But I mean, Fox didn't do themselves any favors by the last couple films they were releasing not being the best of movies.
I think
why
for
you got bought out.
a long period of time, they weren't doing themselves any favors. Like, they ruined so many of their franchises.
Yeah, I mean, their X-Men films, whether you liked or disliked the previous ones, they were not helping matters by making worse and worse movies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, X-Files, the last Die Hard movie. Like, I could go on all day. They ruined
Oh yeah, Good Day
everything they
to
had. Horrible film.
Good Day to suck ass. I tried to like that film in the theater. This is when I was more optimistic, and then when I got home in the Blu-ray, I'm like, I can't do this, man. I wanted to like it in the theater. I don't want hate stuff. It was awful. Yeah, this one's an hour, 56 minutes, and 8 seconds.
Yep, that's what I got.
All right, so I'm watching the Blu-rays, the quadrilogy set, which was a really good set, a lot of excellent features.
Mm-hmm.
But pause at the beginning. I'll do the countdown. What I'll say 3, 2, 1, press play. And then when I press play, I'm paused at the very, very beginning before even the logo pops up. So 3, 2, 1, pressing play. and we have the Fox logo, which again you will never see again because Disney's like, not only are we going to buy it, but we're going to get rid of this and we're going to call it 20th Century Studios or whatever the hell it's called because that's so much better apparently.
Yeah, so as this is starting, we got to talk about a couple of things when it comes to the original script. Now, did you know that originally there was supposed to be a complete third act that took place on Earth with them sort of
I did hear
having a
about
battle
that.
for Earth? Okay. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, real quickly, what is this guy doing with his bud? It's like he's going to sniff it, he's going to eat it. Like who does this? Who like picks it up like this
Yeah.
and be like, doesn't he like sniff or something? Like it's just so fucking weird. This is what I'm talking about, like this weird sense of humor. But at least it would have been different for a finale at this point, because the finale you have is just being sucked out of a ship again, like the first movie. I mean, done in a different, more violent way, but it's like, okay, Alien was sucked out of the airlock in the first film. The Queen was sucked out of the airlock in the second film. Here, it gets sucked out, but also gets eviscerated. As a director's cut, like, how do you know that? That's how I want to begin. I want to begin with a bud splat on the title screen, like this Nickelodeon
a
gap or
xenomorph
something.
bug.
Yeah, xenomorph bug, and really 1997 CGI.
Now, saying
And
that, like, if you were done answering the original question, that is, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, no, yeah, it would have been different. I don't know if it would have saved the film. I mean, it would have been different and more unique compared to how it is now. It's just, okay, it's another alien set out of the airlock, but which is like, this is the third time now out of 4 films. Is a bit redundant. And the alien looked like a chupacabra, albino, asshole.
Yeah,
I
it
hate the
wasn't
look
good.
of that thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. So how do you feel about Joss Whedon? Well,
As a
maybe not.
person, or
That's kind of a broad question. Yeah, I was just thinking that. So maybe his work on this, like what he brought to the table, if you will, with this film screenplay.
well, he said they didn't change anything. It's just they did everything wrong. Like they casted wrong, they directed it wrong. I don't understand the idea of the story. Like once Ripley's dead, she's out of the picture. To then bring her back, and it's like it's her, but it's not her. He was told, I know, to go from Newt to this, but at this point, I'm like, once you kill Ripley, I kind of lost a lot of interest on the franchise. So it's hard to win me back. Maybe it was like really, really start fresh with 0 ties. Maybe that could help, but then as they did this, and it just waned my interest even less and less. And then here she in a tube, looked like a potato head. But yes, I know who that is now. That character. Yes, the actor. I forgot his name. His name. Yeah. Yes, he's in this, and he gets killed at the end. He was also in a bunch of movies and bit parts, Clear and Present Danger, among others. And there's Brad Dourif, of course, which he's a good. I love him as an actor, but even then, it's like, okay, we have this great actor. What do we want to do with him? You don't look at the xenomorph and go kiss it, but then mimic it for what reason? I don't know. What was the reason for that? Maybe I'm missing the point.
I have no idea.
Know.
I couldn't even begin to guess. I saw Pred's comment. He said that the cast said the lines the wrong way in a comedic way. I find that somewhat hard to believe. A lot of that seems like him trying to come up with some sort of a cop out for what he wrote. Like it I mean, like you just said, like that whole scene where he's mimicking the alien face. What I have to believe that was in the script. Like, so how could they not do it in a comedic way? I mean, you're writing comedy.
And that's the thing. This is kind of at times a comedy show,
Yeah.
like on the comedy bus. And you see Joss Whedon have done this, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a lot of comedy in it, even the Avengers, there's comedic elements in it. So yeah, I agree. Joss Whedon probably like doesn't want to take full responsibility. What I think it is at some of his hands as well, with the way this is written, the way the characters are written. I don't think it's that good of a script, and the concept doesn't intrigue me. Again, a clone Ripley, as much of a cop out as it is, and it would have been the ultimate cop out. I know. I honestly would have preferred that it was a dream. Alien 3 was a bad nightmare to pull the Dallas. As lame and lazy as that is, if you have to do it, I would rather see that than this. That's just me. I'd rather be like, yeah, she had a nightmare. She woke up and Hicks and Newt are off somewhere recuperating. She's on her own adventure to do whatever the hell. I mean, you could say there was a screw up and cryo sleep and she's amnesia or something. Or like she still acts this way.
Right.
Because of some type of cryo sleep malfunction. Or the others were rescued, but they took her and they experimented on her. And you say it's like some weapons program to experiment on her with some of the Alien 3 original script with the virus, which I liked that idea, that airborne virus that would infect and be like John Carpenter's The Thing mixed in. And maybe they were experimenting on people as a weapon, and she's was successful. So as she's remembering, she's got to go. She's become the thing she hates. Like, that's a lot of an actress to play with. You become the thing you hate. You have all these memories of you bring back the footage from the director's cut of Aliens that you had a daughter. This took you away from her. I'm just saying this stuff off the top of my head. I mean, that stuff would intrigue me more than what I'm seeing here, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong with that. Like, I mean, part of me likes the idea that they're still trying all these years later to get the queen alien. They're trying to weaponize still. I like when Michael Wincott's character of him having this sort of crew that, like, I don't want to call them bounty hunters because they're not necessarily hunting, but I mean, they are harvesting people in a way. That's their cargo. They're being paid sort of under the table, which I think this is still Wayland Industries or Corporation. So some of that stuff is kind of cool to me, but it just like with everything else mixed in between, there is kind of an off-put in the flow of everything. Yeah, I just.
What do you think of the clone Ripley idea, or the clone Ripley here?
I'm somewhat indifferent on it. I think I just latch on to more of the idea of the weapon thing and like the Michael Wincott's crew carrying out their mission. I wish that was explored a little bit more, and maybe just the idea of them doing that along with harvesting xenomorphs and stuff like that. I would have been more into that kind of a story. I don't think Ellen Ripley's really needed for the story that they're trying to tell. I would have rather just followed Michael Wincott's crew, honestly.
So would you not have
I can't remember his name right now.
Which one?
The guy in the middle.
The guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dan Hedaya.
Right.
Yeah, he's been a lot of stuff. He was in Daylight with Sylvester Stallone. He
That's
was
right.
in this film I remember called The Shaft about the killer elevator, which
Oh
also
yeah,
had Ron Perlman in it.
that's right.
Which I love that film. I mean, any movie that's got Aerosmith loving an elevator and a guy shooting a elevator with a
The
bazooka,
bazooka, yeah.
I'm down for. I'm down for. That's a movie that I knew was for me. It was a B movie and just went with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I could be down with that. Yeah, I mean, they said it was too expensive, and then they said it was too much like Aliens, and they didn't want to spend that much money. Um, Although if they did that instead of doing Alien 3 and 4, that obviously probably would have been more of a crowd pleaser hit, and the franchise might have been a different course. But they when you cheap out, you get bought out, and eventually you got bought out by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have done the clone thing at all, or just have it be weapons and then have this crew like Michael Wincom when
Oh, weapons in the crew. I mean, I think Ripley's story arc is over once we do Alien. I was going to say Alien 3, but I meant to say Aliens, not Alien 3.
right?
Like just the beginning, the idea of killing Newt and Hicks, and like no, you don't do that.
Yeah, Dan Hedaya was in Commando. That's right. He was one of the bad guys. Yeah, main bad guys.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so Premier, you're asking about the effects. I mean, I think the effects are pretty good. Like the xenomorph effects are definitely more slick.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely more sleek in design.
Oh yeah.
Uh, they definitely had, a $70 million budget. Like those effects are pretty solid. The
Yeah.
practical.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know why they spit acid now. I didn't know they did that. I know they bleed acid. I didn't know they spit acid.
Yeah.
Like,
They had to give them something new.
I mean, they didn't do that in the other movies. There's a lot of movies they could have, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, I think that would have worked well for Xenomorph at the end of the first movie, as it's getting kicked out of the airlock. Like,
Yeah.
here's some acid in your face. But here is where they're trying to inject this humor, like fork. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's a fork. Fuck. It's like, and then like the basketball scene. Like, why does an alien movie need a basketball scene? I mean, I know it's to show her
Oh,
power, but it's like
mm-hmm.
she ain't Superman.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that could have easily been switched out for weightlifting. I mean, there is a weight in that scene, like the barbell thing, like for bench pressing. Like they could have just gone with that, but yeah, I agree, not needed.
What do you think of the design of the movie? Like the way it's so, a lot of the ship is brown and some of the other set design. What are your thoughts on it?
It's never the most appealing thing, honestly. Um, but I guess it is kind of a hard thing to do to not make it look like Alien or Aliens. I mean, the first movie, it's mostly white, the ship. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
white and light gray and stuff like that. And there are a few areas where it's dark. And then you have like the cold, like steel, like dark look of Aliens, and then the dark blue hues, and like it's really interesting stuff with those two films. So, I mean, what other colors could they have used to make this film stand out? That's more so the question that I have. Like, I get what he's going for with it, trying to establish its own mood and tone through colors, but it just comes off as somewhat unappealing, like you said. I'm not a big fan of it, but there are other parts of the ship that look great, I think.
Well, I just don't think brown is really the best color.
No.
When like the aliens are brown, at least for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, and then like she's
Mm-hmm.
wearing brown. Some of the other uniforms are brown. It's like everything is covered in shit.
Yeah.
Uh, I did not remember they did action figures for this. I'm not surprised. It's a big budget film for them, but
Didn't
I
they
did
do a
not know
video
about
game
the
for
action
this one
figures.
as well?
Yes, it was supposed to come out when this came out, but then it was supposed to be like up top, where
Or
you're
top
moving the
down?
character. Yeah, top down. I mean,
Okay.
I'm all fucking all the brown shit in my brain. The top down format. Then it was supposed to be third person, and then ultimately they made it first person, but it got delayed so much it came out like years after this movie came out.
Mhm.
And I mean, the game is definitely a tough game. It definitely has some interesting controls. That's a precursor to first person shooters ahead of its time. Uh, yeah, also, it has a dull music, so it has a little bit of a creepy effect to it, but it's definitely a tough game. And
Mhm.
it was for, I know, PlayStation 1, among others.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember playing Alien 3, and that's much better than the movie, I'll tell you. But I skipped out on the Resurrection game. I never got to play it.
Yeah, definitely a tough one. Um, and here we have the crew of the Betty.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta be honest, this guy annoyed the piss out of me. This guy with
You didn't like his
Mr. No
shotgun
Legs.
wheelchair thing?
I, maybe I know it's I'm guessing he was in another John Pierre Junet's movies. I can't remember the actor's name. I don't know, a lot of times it's kind of like whining or complaining, or I just nothing about it appealed to me. This character,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, compared to the first two, like Winona Ryder, I liked her in other movies. This was not one of them. I know said she was a fan of it, and that's why she did it. I don't know, just
Mm-hmm.
apparently this game was supposed to be feature locked because the guys who made the video game made that Atom Zone game, but then they didn't know it'd just be that one shot, so they were disappointed.
I bet they were.
I think this guy on the right would go on to be on CSI, and then he had like a lot of drama and problems, so he got fired from it. Who plays
Oh,
Christy?
really? I had no idea about that. Wow.
Yeah, I think he was on the TV show CSI, and then again there was a big drama. I can't remember if it was a drug problem or something else was going on. And of course, Michael Wincott
Mm-hmm.
and Ron Perlman acting like a monkey.
Yeah.
For some reason, why is he acting like a monkey?
Exactly.
Like, do you think that was in the script, or was that like an improv? Do you think? I mean, we
Well,
can't know for sure, but
his character's like drinking the whole movie or whatever it's
yeah,
supposed to be, getting fucked up, whatever. So I always attribute it to maybe it's more so just that, uh, and not so much his personality or anything. But still, yeah, the comedy wasn't needed.
well, I know a lot of people that got drunk and they were acting like a monkey. So they're looking for banana. Yeah. You acting like a monkey on speed. You know?
Yeah, because
So
I
I know
think
you.
there's this.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
well, there's a
No,
scene
go for it.
later on where Ron Perlman gets upset at Winona Ryder for spilling whatever it is that they're drinking, and he says like, "This shit is not easy to come by." So I would imagine that it's not just alcohol; it's some kind of, I don't know, futuristic drug or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, Ron Perlman was in that movie. I mean, it's a strange callback for an alien film, but to me, I like a caveman. Okay. I think they approached people like Danny Boyle or something for this movie, and they're like, "Fuck this, I ain't doing it." So
Yeah, him and I think Peter Jackson as well. He turned it down.
yeah, I can't blame them for that. Because what do you
Initially,
do
I
after
think.
Alien 3? Like after the bad taste that at the time left a lot of people's mouths, what do you do for an Alien 3, Alien 4 that would get people's juices flowing, so to speak. It's a tough battle, especially at the time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if anything that would really draw a whole lot of fan interest because so much of the franchise was Ripley. Um, that's why I thought like this crew should have been like they should have been the central characters. Of course, Michael Wincott is the lead. Um, yeah, just her character arc. She had nothing left to do. Doing the whole cloning thing, um, just seemed like a very desperate attempt to get her in the movie. And Sigourney Weaver even said that like initially they had a bunch of other ideas that she didn't like. She didn't want to do the movie because of that. But then she thought that this was a cool idea, having her be the clone, having her be part alien. You didn't know where she stood in the grand scheme of things. Is she going to help the aliens? Is she going to help the crew? So I could see how on paper it was somewhat appealing to her, but it, I mean, it doesn't really work that well.
No, at least not to. Yeah, I agree.
Not to anchor an entire film on, anyway.
You know what this is? It's Joss Whedon trying to do what he would later do with Firefly and Serenity, the space crew with the sense of humor.
Okay, I never thought about that. That's a good point. Wow.
Because Joss, people remember Firefly with Nathan Fillion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the type of crew where they're kind of mercenaries, a little bit sense of humor, trying to have a group together, trying to be like cowboys in space. And here you got some of that attitude that I mean was more successful in terms of chemistry in Firefly and then Serenity, which Joss Whedon directed that movie and it was based on the TV show. So look how fancy we got. We got some lasers for our fucking liquor.
I will agree with that statement from Michael Wincott.
Yeah, you got a good point. But I agree with Michael Wincott. It's just a shame that the most dynamic personality is like the first to die.
Yeah, that I hate
That's
that.
kind of
I like
that's kind of, yeah.
I was going to say I like the crew getting stuck in a situation where it's, of course, none of it is their fault, but it is indirectly their fault. I mean,
Yeah.
you see him getting paid. They talk about Congress, all that stuff, give you a little bit of exposition of what's going on. And they could have just taken their money and left, but they stick around and, you know, it's bad news for them in the end.
But that's another thing also is that okay, when you look at the ideas is okay, we're back on another ship with another kind of like we were in the first movie. I don't know, just like I said, just a lot of bad calls, Ripley. Just a bad call, Ripley. Bad call. I remember when this was advertised. I forget what the show was. It was on cable back in the day. It was on TNT or something, and there was this show where they show like all these trailers and all these like coming soon. And when I saw the teaser of it, I was hyped just because hey, it's a new Alien film.
Same here.
Didn't know why Sigourney Weaver was back, but then I saw it, and then. In 1997, I mean, that was the year you had a lot of other, sci-fi films come into the fold. Where you had that was around the era of The Relic, Mimic, Anaconda, like all these other
Hmm.
either sci-fi or creature feature movies. Deep Rising in 1998.
Right. Event Horizon.
Yeah, Event Horizon. Which would be like the way that ship looked, I thought looked really dynamic compared to this. Like the way that film was shot. Like if you
Yeah.
had that backdrop and that environment, maybe that could have
Hmm.
been cooler. And there you go, haunted aliens. There you go, aliens from hell. There you go, xenomorphs. The dead xenomorphs from the first two are back from hell. And
What a
I've seen
horrific
dumber movies on the
way to
Sci-Fi
wake
Channel.
up.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, that's true. Starship Troopers as well was 97. That's right.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get Paul Verhoeven to do this, or well, I guess Event Horizon would have just been coming out, so they probably wouldn't have got Anderson, but still,
Right.
anybody but this guy. And I have nothing against him. He just his vision was not on par with the franchise at all, and he didn't take it in a great direction. But of course, he has to direct the script that he's given to, so you got
Yeah.
to take that into account.
I'm sure he did this because hey, it's a big budget, $70 million movie. It's going to give me some buzz. However, but
Oh
it
yeah.
just I don't know what he did after this. Can't think of what he did after this.
What did he do after this?
Not a whole lot. Play stuff that that's why it's like you look at the script, you don't this isn't gonna work. Like
Hmm.
I would just if you wait for your if your bid shot the mainstream is this script,
Hmm.
it's a bad call to make. Like wait for a better script. Maybe like another 2 years. Maybe there'd be a better script to fall in your lap. Instead of, a big old fucking basketball scene, the fucking alien film.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he did after this. Amelie. It was 2001, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So at least there's that.
Hmm.
Uh, well, I know there's a lot of people that don't hate the film. It just, to me, if Alien 3 killed the corpse, it just nailed the coffin. It just put the nails in. It just,
Hmm.
there's, for me, nothing that satisfying about this for a watch. Is just maybe do a couple set pieces the aliens people can enjoy, but then it's like either weird comedy or just at times an ugly aesthetic or weird
Hmm.
plot comedy elements and just but I don't know why like that shot there with the ship for some reason looks cheaper than the shots in Aliens or Alien 3. I don't know what it is. Just
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
just a color scheme or what. And Jason X stole this, the weird
Yeah, they did.
kinky.
No,
I'll say right here, I rather watch Jason X to this movie. I'll say that.
correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the chat, wasn't this not supposed to be the fourth film? Weren't they going to do Alien versus Predator at this time?
There was talk of it. I remember that because one of the reasons Sigourney Weaver is like, I don't want that to happen. Well, that's one of the reasons she wanted Ripley to die because she wanted to be away from that. And yeah, even at this point, there was talks of it, and I forget the writers of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, that for years they were talking of doing that, and then they said it would never happen, and ultimately it did happen.
Yeah.
But I originally read Fox was going to go straight to EVP film in '97, but instead decided to make a fourth solo Alien film.
There we go. Yep.
I think at this point, like Alien vs. Predator film just would not work because I don't think they
Hmm.
would know how to do it correctly.
Oddly enough, we were talking about Event Horizon, and Anderson did that. He ended up doing AVP. What's your take on that film? Like, obviously, I think I know what you're going to say, but just for reference, did you?
AVP, the first one,
Yeah.
you were going to say, did you, what were we going to say?
Oh, did you think that it would have come out differently, um, considering who was directing? I don't know your opinion of him as a director, honestly. I'm just
Uh,
curious.
well, a lot of times I call him Paul Wild Stallions Anderson. W. Uh, I'll get to admit, this is that fucking scene with the fucking
Oh my
ready
god.
to kiss, make out, low job, whatever it is. What is he doing? Someone explain to me, please. Even if you like the film, what's Brad Dourif doing? And he's like, let's suck face, suck ass, suck xenomorph dick. What are we doing? He's that bored on a date. He needs a date that badly. He loves drool, maybe.
Yeah, like
But
that's how you
okay,
display your great, like, because that's a great job there on the makeup and stuff. Like the design
oh
is
yeah,
pretty spot on, but that's how you display it for the first time for the audience. Like, what is that?
yeah, very strange. But okay, Paul Davis Anderson. I really enjoy the first Mortal Kombat film. I really
Mhm.
enjoy Event Horizon.
Me too.
I've grown to like Soldier.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1, I go back and forth on.
Hmm.
I'd rather watch that than the new one that came out, Welcome to Dog Shit. Resident, but the other sequels were really, really poor. And I'm trying to think what else he's done. Didn't see his Three Musketeers movie. Monster Hunter, I remember being but I never played the game, so I have no point of reference.
Hmm.
It was cool to see Tony Jaa in it. AVP might be the worst film he's done to me. Well, no, some of those Resident Evil sequels, but
Yeah.
AVP is like it was so disappointing for a number of reasons. It was just I remember being hyped for it when it's hey, Alien vs Predator,
Hmm.
cool, could be a cool concept. This director, I like again Mortal Kombat. I like Event Horizon quite a bit. I like the way he did with Event Horizon.
Me
If he
too.
brings any bit of that grit to it, but instead, as he watered down PG-13, terribly acted, the lead lady, Sana Lathan,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
she
Right.
was written. She's written to be such a boring, bland character that all I knew she climbed mountains, was did a lot of help for her fighting aliens and predators, climbing mountains. Uh, Lance Henriksen was wasted, although I like it. Great actor. He was there to be sick and get killed by a predator.
Hmm.
The guy, I remember him. He found a Coke bottle, or the fuck he did in the desert. Where the characters were terrible. The predators were chunky asses. To quote the Golden Child, just
Hmm.
chunky asses. Like they just, and then like the Paul W. Anderson, like the reason he did it because I saw an interview. He's like, well, the first two predators just looks like a guy in a suit. So I
What?
need to have the predators that fight. That's what he said in an interview on the DVD.
That's ridiculous because that's what the predators look like in his movie.
That's why they're so chunky and they're so
Oh my
you see
god.
less skin and more armor. And I don't.
Hmm.
Like I said, that's the wrong decision making. And then why are you making PG-13? And why is it such a boring, slow build? Do people want a slow build? Like if you have capable characters, sure, aliens,
Hmm.
it takes a while for it to get going, but you have excellent characters, in my opinion. You do not have that in AVP. And it's a slow ass build to get to the Arctic where the predators some we can't stand these people because it's too PG-13. And then three predators are so tough, one xenomorph kills two of them, like the first scene.
Right.
And then it's like I remember the end when the predators move in slow motion. I thought it was a scene from Baywatch, waiting for the you know what was that theme song? Are you ready? When her and the predator are running in slow mo to get to the exit, and then you have this big CGI queen. I'm like, wow, that's a great what? I just thought it was such a garbage missed opportunity movie. It wasn't exciting. There wasn't a lot of action, and there
Well,
was a lot of verses.
you say missed opportunity. Do you think that could work on any level? I mean, different director, different script. Does that work? I think conceptually, those ideas are cool for video games, comics, stuff like that. I don't
Animated
know if,
movie, maybe an animated movie.
well, yeah, but live action, I mean, same with Freddy versus Jason. People were really disappointed.
Mm.
I'm like, considering where those franchises ended up in a way, like, how could those have ever worked? Like, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting. I mean, it's a versus movie, you know?
Maybe in a wild. This is a wild idea. Maybe do you think Alien Predator, if some people want to see the battles, it'd be a short stint. Maybe like an anthology movie
Hmm.
where you do like something from the, or maybe like an anthology where it's like this is from a human's perspective, this is from an alien's perspective, this is from a predator's perspective, but it's the same battle. And either do it like what's the old story? Uh, they redid it for that Dennis Quaid film Vantage Point, but it was a Rashomon, the story where you have the same story but it's like different
Right.
points of
Yeah.
view.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Maybe that, or we see from the human's perspective, but then we see from the alien, and then we see from the person's perspective by the end. So it's the one story, but in like three segments within the same movie, we're changing perspectives to give maybe a bit of different feel, different technique, different aesthetic to it. I mean, I'm just spitting ideas. It could be horrible as well, but I would appreciate something like that where I haven't seen it before than what they concocted with
Mhm.
another slow build where I think that's the last thing people want in an Alien vs Predator is a slow build, unless you have really electric characters,
Mhm.
eclectic, personality-filled characters. If you don't, uh, there's Raymond Cruz. You got to take him down. And
Yeah.
there's all the guns there.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you, Bobby. I would say a blob because blob is just acid. It's just
Yeah.
acid. It
The
would
Blob
just
for sure.
take over. Uh, I mean, I don't mind this actor who plays Christie. I don't mind him. I forget the actor's name. I think his character's name is Christie.
Yeah, it's Christy.
Definitely funny. Which, by the way, I always wonder when his death scene happens. He's not dying, I don't think. He's got some acid on his face.
Mhm.
Couldn't he just swim back up after falling into the water?
That's right. He does like just fall into the water and then you never see him again. Although maybe that was his way of like just giving up and sacrificing himself to any xenomorphs that were in the water or just drowning. I don't know. But I mean, knowing what we know about their blood, shouldn't the acid have like eaten his brain? Like it should have melted his whole fucking head.
I, it's a good point, but he was alive enough. Yeah, Gary Dowerden is the actor's name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in CSI, he was on the show, and in 2008, he was arrested for possession of cocaine and ecstasy, and the third charge of possession of heroin.
Jesus
And then he
Christ.
had contract negotiations. He filmed his last scenes. Then 2011, he crashed his car, and he was arrested for charges, but they were dropped for drug possession of Oxycontin, and had other drug paraphernalia. Also, felony battery. I won't get too much into that. Domestic violence counseling, filed for bankruptcy in August 2012, owing $1.7 million to creditors.
Wow.
So,
well, he was having a good time. At least until he got caught.
Why would he stick your head in there, man? Like, what do you think would all happen? Maybe wanted that kiss again. Yeah. He wanted to finish that kiss.
And then he's still alive at the end, you know. He's like in their den.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. That's true. Thank you, Bobby. Once again, I appreciate the super chats, man. I still go with the blob. I think it's just pure acid, just eats through everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they're made of cold and just want to freeze it, it ain't stopping the blob. So I would go with that. But thank you, Bobby. I didn't know what you doing in there for. What you gonna do? Like, I know you got a pistol, but what do you think you're gonna accomplish?
Exactly.
I know the Xenomorphs are smart, but I didn't know they were like serial killer smart. I guess this shows they are.
Right.
Speaking of Jason X.
There we go.
Freezing someone. Jason X was a big fan of this movie. That guy person frozen and broken up.
Like, if you look at it so far, Ripley has not really done anything.
Played basketball.
Yeah, like is her character needed here? No. Like, you have his crew. They should have just gone with that.
I think we were close to something we were saying, you know, what you don't do after Alien 3, and there's a lot of people who do like it nowadays, but it was much more negative back then.
Mm-hmm.
And what you don't do, well, it's like their thought process was maybe to somehow appease those people that were so mad, we got somehow bring Sigourney Weaver back again, and somehow they'll bring people back to their, at least one more time, get the box office, and people weren't falling for it, at least for a good chunk. It was like, if you look at it so far, this movie sucks. Yeah. That's right. Batman and Robin was this year, 97. That's right.
Oh yeah.
And that Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Great movie.
Yeah. Bad year for sequels like this, Batman and Robin, Speed 2.
Mm-hmm.
And already missing Michael Wincott. And that kill him off so quick. Why? I mean, I don't know what.
I'll never understand that either. Like, I think he was definitely the first of the crew to die. And he doesn't even have any real interactions with the xenomorphs other than one of them killing him.
Yeah. And for those curious, the highest grossing films of this year worldwide were number 1, Titanic, number 2, Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, 3 was Men in Black, 4 was Tomorrow Never Dies, 5 As Good as It Gets, 6 Air Force One, 7 Liar Liar, 8 My Best Friend's Wedding, 9 The Fifth Element, and for some reason it's not showing number 10, but as there for the 9 of them. Some pretty good films in that. I mean, love Fifth Element, love Air Force One, and others. That's another movie. Fifth Element, sci-fi film that is from a director, Luc Besson. That's a film where I thought within that frame the humor worked. And
oh yeah, for sure.
see, like those model shots of the ship, something about that look cheap. I don't know what it is for $70 million. Like
even that explosion.
I can't quite, yeah. I can't quite put my finger on why with a $70 million budget. Oh, this is that bit where he gets bit in the head, and is not just that, but he picks a fucking piece of brain out. Which, I mean, looks like something like an artichoke or something like in your heart, but it's in his brain. What would be the point of those lights on the ground? I guess to blink like that. I guess.
Maybe to steer you in a certain direction. I don't know, but they're all going off at once, so I guess it wouldn't be that either.
To kill people with epilepsy. So I guess, I mean, technically he's not the first to die in the movie. So it's been a while since, but he's like the first of the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, of his crew. Yeah.
He's got the right idea. He's got 2 guns. It just.
Yeah,
I don't remember why he's by himself.
Yeah, they're going like down the corridor. Then he breaks away. He doesn't even hear anything. He's like, let me just walk down this down this way by myself.
The guns are barely used in the film. Well, that's because Sigourney Weaver does not like guns. That was one of her points of contention for Alien 3 to not have guns. That's why Alien 3 doesn't have guns, because she shot guns in Aliens, but she didn't think it would be that as much as it was, and she's an anti-gun person, which is ironic because that many other films she would shoot guns. Cabin in the Woods, she shot someone with a gun. Paul, she shot someone with a gun. Cold Light of Day, she shot people with guns and killed a bunch of humans.
It's a movie where they're alien creatures running around killing everyone. Like the guy in Aliens, what are we supposed to use? Harsh language? What the hell would you kill them with? Like, doesn't make any sense.
She wants to have sex with them.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That was the James Cameron. He said when Sigourney Weaver met him, he's like, I don't want to use guns. I want to die, and I want to have sex with the alien. And it's like, no, I'm not doing any of that. This is what we're doing. And then after, 3 and 4 is what she ended up doing. She had more power. She died. She had no guns. Here she shoots no guns. She's a flamethrower at clones. And then she looked like she wanted to have sex with the alien. And the whole looked like an orgy scene. See, there's Michael Wincott, of course.
No. Like no fight put up at all. Just dead.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to use guns, but I have sex with an alien. That's her. I don't know, man.
Who is she expecting to film that? Like, what is that gonna do for the film? Having sex with an alien?
I don't know, maybe if someone meets her. you could fucking, you could fucking. Hey, Mike, hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, thanks for the good luck. I did good. Alec Gillis and Tom Wolf Jr. did a nice job with the alien effects in these. Wasn't enough to save it. Well, I guess technically Ripley shoots it here, but you just never see her in the same frame.
Right.
Coming up here. As long as she's not in the same frame, then she's fine with it. Yep, I'm not going to do guns anymore. Here you go.
Yeah. I don't need this.
Would Jonah Ron Perlman's character made for the better protagonist to follow during the movie?
Maybe if he had been written differently, maybe.
Yeah, maybe written a bit more like Hellboy, like the way he played Hellboy. He had that attitude of against authority, but at the same time, likability to him.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he's written here, like, I mean, he just so much of a dick that he just,
yeah,
it's hard to root. I mean, I like Ron Perlman as an actor, so I root for him in that way. But at the same time, it's just sometimes he has a funny line that works. I will admit that sometimes he says a line that gets a chuckle out of me because I think of the crew, he shows the most personality.
For sure, yeah.
So I think that helps a lot. I think I would say he's one of the best things about the film, even though his terror is not written as best as it could. But I don't know. I don't think you need Winona Ryder's character in this either.
Yeah, the idea of having the android, just why?
Because the other films had an android, and it's like they want to have the newt thing, but not really. Just I think
a character for her to latch onto.
Yeah. I think there's one, like the director's cut, there's not a lot of differences, but I think there's a line or two here where she mentions she remembers a little girl, and that's supposed to be Newt. I think that's an added line in this director's cut. So I think Joss Whedon wanted to get that in there. I don't know. I guess they've just figured, well, we gotta have an android somehow, and Bobby, thanks, man. I know these are random questions, but thanks for the super chats, man. If it was Bryan Cranston, Mr. Freeze, I'll go with Mr. Freeze. Feeding the blob. There you go. I'll pick that. Walter White is Mr. Freeze. He can freeze the blob. There you go. Yeah. Thanks, Bobby.
Oh yeah, and then it just made me remember. Like you also have Leland Orser pop up later.
That's right.
The very end of the last act.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's pretty, just change. Just yeah, it's a pretty lazy change. I guess it's like, hey, why not? It's been what was it, 100 years at least or something? They said
200 years.
At least 200 years. So yeah, father instead of mother. Why not? Like that's really ingenious. How did you think of that idea?
That's all their creativity right there.
You know what? Okay, instead of I'll say this. Instead of making this film, in a way, they did make a good follow up. To me, it's the best Alien thing in a long time. Alien Isolation,
Hmm.
Ripley's daughter,
Okay.
space station. Uh, like I have it on my computer, like edited into a movie. I'm like, you know what? That right there would be a better film, a prequel to Aliens. And I know I'm not big on prequels, but compared to this, I'm like, you know, okay, get a
Yeah.
good actress for her space station. Maybe use the spaceball ideas you threw away in first draft of Alien 3.
Hmm.
Maybe incorporate some other stuff. That could have been maybe cool.
Yeah, that's the best game that they've ever done, hands down. And now you mentioned prequels, Prometheus, Alien Covenant. Are they both on the same playing field for you? Like for me, I I think
Yeah,
they're virtually the same thing. I know a lot of people champion Prometheus. For me, that one's like they're trying to create something out of nothing. I don't think that you needed any sort of explanation of where the ship came from, them creating the whole
I
thing
agree.
with the other beings. What are they called? The engineers. It
Yep.
just it's a whole lot of extra for nothing. But for you, how would you like assess both of those? Like, do you think one's better than the other? The same?
I think they're both dog shit. Prometheus is better looking dog shit. I think Prometheus is better looking compared to Covenant, but I think they're both awful in terms of characters and story. I think in Prometheus, you have a guy getting high in his spacesuit like a Friday the 13th movie and looking
Yeah.
at an alien penis and going, doing the Brad Dourif thing. Hey, yeah, how
Hmm.
you doing? You know. And Charlie's Theron not knowing, maybe don't run in a straight line, learn how to turn. And for some reason, there's 8,000 pound CGI face huggers and all the engineers, this cool, mysterious thing. They're big, tall albino guys who are bald
Hmm.
and wear Beast aftershave from Rocky or something. I just that cut the mystery out, and it's like, what makes this interesting?
Hmm.
And the lead character, the way she was written, I choose to believe it. Well, I choose to believe this movie sucks, and that belief is right, in my opinion. And the Alien Covenant, like when Danny McBride's I thought was the best part of the movie. I thought that was a problem, and I like Danny McBride,
Yeah.
but I thought he was, yeah, Xenomorph killed people in a shower. Didn't like Friday 13th, and it's like I love Friday
Hmm.
13th, but that's apples and oranges to me. Friday 13th and Alien, at least to me.
Hmm.
Is the albino guy supposed to be Sean Patrick Flanery from Powder? That's where he went.
That
He
was a good one.
disappeared in lightning. He disappeared at the end. You don't know where the hell he went. Just maybe teleported to fuck something, and they made a whole family of engineers. That's what it is. That's went back in time or went to the future, I should say, and made a lot of engineer babies. There you go. It's all powder.
Like, yeah, Danny McBride being the best part. I never really thought about it like that. And then I think James Franco's killed like very, very early on. I think he's only
Yep.
in like one scene,
Yep.
which begs the question why even have him cast in a movie like that? Um, what a
I think
waste of
there's more
Michael
stuff that was
Fassbender.
deleted.
he was
Yeah,
great performance. That was really
the
great to
David.
watch. Yeah, the David character was great, but ultimately, where does that character end up?
Pretentious.
Very
And
pretentious.
there's all the clone rejets.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this idea, oh, never did anything for me because I have no reason to care about this Ripley character. This
Mhm,
is what's supposed to make the audience now care for the character, to
mhm.
sympathize with her. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah. I agree with Ron Perlman's line. It's a fucking waste of ammo.
Especially at the end when the whole ship blows up anyway, so it was a waste of ammo.
Exactly.
It would have been destroyed anyway. That was also disappointing. I remember seeing her with a flamethrower in the teaser, and this is back in '97. I'm like, oh, she got a flamethrower like aliens.
Hmm.
I think she's going to use it on aliens, but she never uses it on aliens, any alien. And this is before I knew she was an anti-gun gal. So it's like, wow, she's got all this flamethrower, and she never used it on an alien. Like, how, not even a simple thing like that. I mean, yeah, I know I'm picking straws there, but at least some little simple shit.
I agree, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Dark Horse Comics. Yeah, you look at a lot of those comics. There were some pretty interesting stories. Uh, like I said, there was one that was going to have Hicks and Nuke, but then it's like, no, no, you have to change that. It was going to be like their alternate sequel to Aliens, but I
Hmm.
think they had to change the characters. Yeah, this is a line I do remember liking. What's the big deal?
That's great.
It shows when you have a lot of the people that don't have personality, that when you have a guy who does have personality, he really does shine through.
Yeah.
And like Winona Ryder, did anyone really care about her character of Call? Anything about her? Like, did you ever care about that character?
Uh Not really. No. Like I would say it's more so just seeing it's a bad thing when I see the actor or the actress and I don't see the character. And for me that's a lot of like some of the or half the cast I'll say. Brad Dourif, I just see Brad Dourif. Same thing with her. But I like those people, so I'm like, "Oh, okay, they're there." Of course they're a waste, but so is like the whole movie in a way. But again, I don't hate it as much as most people do. Although I've seen some love in the chat for it, though.
Uh, Winona Ryder was better than Beetlejuice. I agree with that. Oh yeah, we're getting to Leland Orser, I believe,
Yep.
around the corner. Of course, would later be in Seven.
Hmm.
No, he was in Seven before this. It was
Yeah, that was
'95,
95. Yeah.
and then was in Resurrection,
Hmm.
which is
A
a pretty
couple
good
years
movie.
after this. Yep. Now, he's always good in anything, though.
Yeah,
I love his performance in this. He definitely stands out. The very like manic, like scared to death, like I got to get the fuck out of this situation type of thing. It's really really good. Yes, Pred. That's a great line.
Well, I was saying before, did you see that the Joss Whedon wanted this to be like what eventually would be Firefly and Serenity, and again, I think here's the thing: you got a director, and yes, this can work from time to time on movies. To be fair, but he had a director that didn't speak English and literally had to talk by an interpreter. So that has to be
Mhm.
hard in directing actors in cadence
Mhm.
and in tempo of voice, high, low, more energy, less energy,
Mhm.
compared to other directors. And like you were saying before, what has Ripley even done other than kill a bunch of her clones for over
Nothing.
an hour in the movie?
Nothing at all. And that's my biggest issue with her character being in this. Like, I like Ripley like everyone else does, but if you're just forcing a character into a story that where she does nothing literally, then just exclude the character. They could have saved $11 million. Oh,
Yeah.
there's the line right there.
And yes, Nippy, in my opinion, I do think 6.2 is too high for this film on IMDb. There's a lot of films that get a lot lower rating than this. So,
Hmm.
yeah, 6.2, I do disagree with that. I do think that's a bit too high, at least for me. I mean, that's the same rating as this movie I got here, Hard Target. You know, people shit on this film a lot, but I'll tell you one thing. This has its flaws, but this has a lot more going for me than Alien Resurrection. I
I
definitely
haven't
like the
seen
characters in this a lot
Leviathan
more.
in forever. I need to get that. I don't own that one.
Uh, Sadly, the Blu-ray's out of print.
Oh
The
shit,
Stream
is it?
Factory were, yeah,
Oh.
just Stream Factory, like of all the films, like that's the one that goes out of print.
Hmm.
And then there's supposed to be a 4K by Tino Lorber, and then it never came out yet. So
I think
it
I
was
do
announced like
remember
a
seeing
year,
that. There was an announcement for it, yeah.
over a year ago. So,
Hmm.
but that one, like, that's a film that I just see people not liking it because there's not a lot of action in it. But I think the characters are just so interesting, and it
Hmm.
has a lot of these elements, like the look of the film, the music by Jerry Goldsmith, a lot of these things that combine to make it an enjoyable monster movie,
Hmm.
even if it doesn't have the most action. But I
That's
think it has a lot of good
Peter
elements,
Weller in that,
especially
right?
the characters. Hmm.
Okay, that's the
You
one
got
I'm
Peter
thinking of.
Weller, you got Richard Crenna, you got Ernie Hudson, Daniel
Hmm.
Stern, Amanda Pays, Meg Foster. Pretty good cast.
Yeah, I need to revisit that one. I've seen it once, and that was so long ago, probably over a decade ago.
Yeah, I was saying it was supposed to, but then it's been over a year. There's been no word on from Tino Lorber. So last time I heard, they haven't even found the copy yet to do it. So it's been like a year. So they'll announce stuff, and then 2 years happen, and then we don't know. Then why do you announce it?
Yeah, I agree, Jedi, definitely. Tom
But this
Sizemore
one,
is, yeah,
yeah.
Tom Sizemore is really fun to watch in that movie.
Oh yeah, I love the Relic. I'm not big on Penelope Ann Miller. I could watch her. I like Mimic, but I kind of wish Mira Sorvino was in the Relic in that role
Hmm.
over Penelope Ann Miller. I wish Tom Sizemore had something to do at the end too. He just kind of gets locked out. I know it's for her
Right.
to do it her own.
Hmm.
That's just a nitpick though.
I wish he was the lead, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, rest in peace, Town Sizemore, but he was great. My favorite
Yeah.
role of his is in that movie, The Relic. Yeah, there's not much added to this director's cut. Like I said, it's like the little beginning with the bud, the little very, very end,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like a line or two here and there. It's just very superfluous. I can't even say the word right. Try to say the big word. It was just very minuscule. It's like, well, the other three have a different cut, so this needs a different cut for the quadrilogy set. So yeah, just add these stuff in.
Yeah. Now, I
But
think
here's the
this
big,
is one of
yeah.
the better sequences for sure. Something that hasn't been done in any of the previous films. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
has another layer of tension to it because you don't want to use up all your oxygen panicking that you have in your lungs because if you do that, you'll drown or you'll be killed either way. But and then the CGI is I don't think they could have made that work with animatronics,
Hmm.
but it doesn't look too bad for a '97 film.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do agree with you that this scene is at least a bit different, at least something more unique compared to the other scenes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Leviathan is coming on Tuesday on Cinemax or Cinema Max if you got cable. I don't know if he has cable.
No, I don't.
Not many people have cable.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
I haven't had cable in like, oh my god, it's been like maybe over 15 years. It's been a long time.
She still doesn't do anything. She just fucking stares. See? Ripley, clone Ripley, fake Ripley just stares. I think one thing they've held their breath a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Just finally did. Not that matters to call. She's a damn android, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her
but
and
yet she's
Ripley.
reacting like she's gonna die.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right here she's she's panicked like everyone else.
It's like, yeah, people drown, but you think we're android she'd be tough enough to rip that too.
That's true. Because I
Why doesn't
remember
she?
in the
Yeah,
first movie,
go
the android's like really strong. He's like superhuman almost.
yeah.
He like rolls up the magazine or whatever and like stuffs it in his mouth and
I mean, look how fast Bishop was, and that was like 200 years ago of an
mm-hmm.
android. So
Mm-hmm.
200 years, you think that android would be a lot tougher to be able to break through that, but it's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Well, maybe it's because I think in a minute or two, Ron Perlman talks about her model being more human than human or something like that. So maybe she's just a weaker android overall
Mhm.
because she's supposed to be so much more human.
Why would you want to make an android like that? This is a sex toy. But I would just say, like, why else would you make an android like that for business practices?
I don't know. Maybe it'd be easier for them to like infiltrate certain things, I guess.
Mm.
And she's okay with explosions. This is okay. She can't shoot
Yeah,
anything though.
yeah. Because she's not doing it. She's not the one doing it. She's not the
That's true.
one setting off the explosion. But yeah, they've been holding their breath a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Because throughout that thing, long swim, and then they couldn't get out either. I know I couldn't do it.
And like the xenomorphs don't attack Ripley, but the facehugger does. So why would the facehugger attack her if they're able to tell? You don't see the facehuggers jumping on the xenomorphs to implant the embryo. Kind of a weird thing.
I don't think they thought that far.
They clearly didn't.
Yeah, does it? Okay, no, I'm thinking of something else. I don't know why I, for some reason, remember seeing her breaking a hole through something, a panel. Maybe it's a different movie. Maybe if it says, we'll see it later. For some reason, I remember her like breaking like a panel and ripping it after the reveal, but I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. So, a synthetic made by synthetics, probably a pleasure model.
So, what do you think of this action scene right here coming up? Them shooting at the aliens, like the whole ladder sequence.
I remember each time I see it, it just leaves a lot more questions of something that big. How the hell do you, like, when he's upside down, how the hell do you miss something that big? And it's on a ladder, so it's not like he can maneuver that much. And like you said, the whole ass, like, why does it not eat through him to his brain? Just gives him like a.
He's just two-faced.
Like a little. Yeah. And then he just gives up. Like, he's not dead. He just gives up, and it's like it's just on his foot. So it's like, take your shoe off, or something, or someone go down and take your shoe off, or
not to mention, like, he cuts himself free later in the scene, but like throw the knife at the fucking head of the xenomorph. That's pretty simple.
I just call who fell into the water. I guess she didn't see him either. Fall into the water. I guess maybe she fucked off somewhere.
He like empties both guns right here.
Yeah.
Within the last shot, it's it.
Why don't any of these people like climb down the ladder? Because there's nothing going towards them.
Yeah.
At least help the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, unhook yourself. You know, I got him or something.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, where is Raymond Cruz in this scene? Like, where is he?
Or Ripley, like, if she's so superpower, why didn't she go down and do something? Have Ripley do something.
Yeah, exactly. She's just standing there.
Just stand there with the thumb up her ass and a grin on her face.
I'm just gonna go for a swim.
Yes. This is like the most pointless like death. And I guess he's dead. It's not like he jumped. I mean, John Wick survived a 4-story fall. This is nothing.
Have John Wick fight some of these xenomorphs.
Yeah. I guess everybody just assumes he's dead anyway. Like, yeah, he fell in the water, but I guess he's dead. It's like, no one even tries. My least favorite Alien film, Heavy Metal Turtles, Alien 3. Yeah, Hitch got hit worse with acid, and he was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ripley helped him, but it's like he wasn't like, I just give up here, just
yeah,
fall down and stuff.
And then that was it ate through his body armor. This
That's
guy got
true.
it directly on the face. Like,
I get. Yeah, that's true. I didn't because now they can just spit acid. They
yeah.
just spit acid, sure. Some fucking reason. I don't think there were any more aliens in the water, so he could have gotten out. If there were more aliens, then you think they'd be in a rush to get the hell out of there. So no, there must not be any more. So no one wants to check on him to see if he's alive or say anything. They just said, fuck it.
Yeah, so there's only like 12 in the movie. Um and I'm not even like keeping count of like how many they've killed. So there's only a few left. And do they ever go back to the Oh yeah, that's right. They do in a little while. They go back to the queen.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Escobar, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Uh,
What's up, Sean?
yeah, Drake got killed from the same thing. That's right. Drake, we are leaving. Yeah, he got hit in the face. He was dead. You just you just because you would assume it just ate through him, but here it's like, nope,
Mm-hmm.
guess not. He's like, I don't want to be Two Face.
Did it Jedi? Did it have a better design? The Xenomorph? I can't remember that much.
So
I just
does
remember
he
the
mean good
CGI
design?
version.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you meant set design or xenomorph designs. Okay, I see it now. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if I'd agree with that 100%. I'd have to see like the Alien 3 Xenomorph again. That's the bad thing. Like, if I remember way more of the CGI than I do the actual practical effect, that's not a good thing.
right? And these two just had no chemistry with each other. I mean, it's not written well anyway, but
Right.
and
Yeah.
again, the design of the ship is just everything just covered in shit. This is brown color scheme, brown clothes,
Mm-hmm.
brown walls, like brown. So thank you, Mary Widow. Thank you. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Mary Widow.
Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. That's very generous. Thank you. I don't deserve it, but thank you so much.
Oh man, you deserve it. Come on.
I don't do.
You're
The only reason this
entertaining the
company
people,
is going is
man.
because of you. The only reason this company still going is because of you asking legitimate questions while I'm just cursing. But thank you. Uh, but like you said, the underwater set piece is a thing people remember because it felt the most unique in terms of visual.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the rest of it, it just felt like a lesser version of what you already saw.
Yeah.
But yet they had a bigger budget.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I could believe that It was 70 million, but where was the rest of that money spent? I mean, the CGI
Well,
is
11,
really bad.
11 million for Sigourney, 11 million
They
for
could have
that.
saved that. They really could have.
Uh, I'm guessing probably a chunk of money into all that underwater stuff for safety and make sure no
Mhm.
one drowns.
Mm.
The xenomorph creatures. Uh,
I mean,
see, yeah, we're talking about new.
the production design, like it's all pretty much the same. So how much of that was actually used up, like at least in terms of budget money? It's really
Your
weird.
guess is good. Yeah. I don't know, and that's the thing. Like of the documentaries, this is the most disappointing because they don't really go in depth onto that. Like Alien 3, they go in depth into the crazy up and down battle of that film.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they really don't. It's kind of just like it was all sunshine and rainbows, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Pick your butt and just. Well, I guess what else they don't do? True. It's like
Predman.
this guy got chest burst. He's got chest burst him, and he's still got to carry this motherfucker around, even with a fucking chest burst in him.
Yeah. So Pred mentions Alien Day. I sent you a message.
Yeah,
Did you see that picture I sent you?
yeah. I saw the new film. What was the director again?
Fede Alvarez.
Oh yeah, of Evil Dead remake,
Mm-hmm.
and he did Don't Breathe.
That's right. Yeah.
So I wonder if the alien's going to have some turkey baster for this one.
It won't be the face hugger. It's a turkey baster.
I don't. I mean, I have. I have no reason to hope for it. If people do, that's cool. I'm not going to rain on their parade. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so done with so many franchises that just it doesn't excite me anymore to see that stuff. I would love to be surprised. Would love to be surprised, but it just when I hear a new Alien, a new Predator, a new Evil Dead, everything doesn't excite me. And then with what Uncle Bill described Evil Dead Rise last night, I went, yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
That's fucking figured. I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it and who haven't seen it. I obviously haven't seen the film, but the way he described it, I'm like, what? Okay. Have you seen that film, Evil Dead Rise, by the way?
No, not yet. I think I talked about it last time when I was on here. It hadn't come out
Yeah.
yet, but I still have the same thoughts. It just looks generic and completely run of the mill, and it's void of any creativity. And at that point, why bother? And honestly, even though Raimi wasn't 100% involved with the show, I know he did direct like the first episode and stuff like that, but I mean, he didn't
Mm-hmm.
write every episode or anything from every season or direct every episode. But somehow all of those guys, for the most part, managed to find a good common ground for sticking with the tone of stuff like Army of Darkness or Evil Dead to an extent. But like, what what is the point? I know they, according to at least Uncle Bill, they try to channel some of that for Evil Dead Rise, but dude, it's not there. I don't see it. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. From what he said, the jokes, the dialogue sounds really bad. And I didn't like the remake, the 2013 movie. I didn't care for that either. So,
Yeah,
Pretty
I
sure I
mean,
won't
I
like this
know
one.
Uncle Bill liked it. I wasn't that, and that's nothing wrong with that. I just wasn't a fan of the remake either. I just,
You know,
like I said in that video, I said, maybe I didn't say as much, but I'm like, is that good gore? But I just, it didn't feel like Evil Dead for me. It
mhm,
just, not to get too off track, but Evil Dead's a lot more than just gore. I always felt that
right.
way.
I agree.
And then this film tries to have a bit more gore, and
Mhm.
it didn't save the film.
Yeah,
Yes,
even like
Fede Alvarez
this.
he's doing another Alien film. But go ahead.
Yeah, Fede Alvarez is called Alien Romulus. I think that's the
Yeah,
title. Yeah. But
filming in Budapest.
that's right. Yeah, I did see that too. Just this whole sequence coming up, I was not on board with any of this. I thought that like it had a decent pace going for like the last half hour, 45 minutes. But then we get to
Hmm.
this and it's so slow and plotting, and I don't see the point of it at all. I mean, I know what they're introducing with this new type of xenomorph, but the introduction of like the xenomorphs, whether it be the regular one or this new one that they're about to show, it's really bad.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just not good. I think the only shot like introductory wise for the xenomorph that was good was the queen, showing the whole like crown, that that long shot like panning back.
Yeah, I didn't know much about Alien Day either. Predminator had to let me know on it, but it's April 26th because LV 426. So
Mm-hmm.
did not know much about that. What do you think of this death scene? Like the way this is done, this whole, which is weird because it looks like it's coming out of his throat, but then it comes out of this. Like the way it's the camera goes down, it's like it's going up his throat, but then it comes out of his chest
Mm-hmm.
instead of just going out of his chest. I thought that was kind of weird. It's
Um,
like, why is it going up his throat to go through his chest?
yeah,
If it's a chest person, would it just come out of his chest?
that's right. Um,
Because in the first one, it's not like coming in his throat and
mhm.
then doing it. It was just, it was like, doing that.
Yeah.
It's like with aliens, like, so I don't know. I thought that was fucking weird.
Mhm. I mean, I thought like it was an kind of a creative and different way to kill such a like assholish character. But
Yeah.
yeah, I could see what you're saying. Like I never really thought about it that way.
See, now look how much brown is in this scene. Again, everything's covered in shits. Like, look how much brown is in this scene. There's like almost like a
Yeah.
brown coat on her skin.
Hmm.
It looks like a pile of shit from Jurassic Park that Jeff Goldblum come by
It
and go, that's one
does.
big pile of shit. And everything looks like covered in drippings of shit. I That's what I mean by the aesthetic of this. It's just this ugly color, ugly as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell. In the theater version, the part where they shoot them after the burster goes through his head was missing. That was added on the home video versions. Home video versions. Did not know that.
Wow.
Huh. Okay. Oh, this is that scene earlier where she's a mom there. That was kind of her orgy of Alien 6,
Oh my
I
god.
guess. And now the chupacabra looking
Hmm.
albino fuckface. Hey, Silver Wings, hope you're doing well, man. Didn't see this in the theater. Yeah, I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it at home. I'm glad. Like the teaser intrigued me because hey, it's a new alien film, and she's shooting a flamethrower, but she's shooting at anything but an alien. Fucking shit. And then this ugly ass. Thank you, Mary Widow. Thank you so much.
Oh wow, that's cool. Nice super chat there.
Now, what the fuck is this thing? And I did in the original idea he had a penis and a vagina.
Mm-hmm.
And it, what is the deal with this?
Have you seen the pictures of the original design? Like with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why they thought they would get away with that.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that the director was insistent on that staying in, but the studio was like, no way. And I think they digitally removed it.
I was going to say, is that a French thing? But
he did.
I don't
He
know what
did
it
say,
is.
even for a Frenchman, like maybe I went too far with that.
I guess like the idea maybe I can get where we've seen the xenomorph, so now let's see something different.
Mm-hmm.
But they do that a lot when you run out of ideas. Like, let's see different dinosaurs. Let's just create more dinosaurs like Jurassic Park and later ones. Let's see. I don't know, just the execution of this. I don't know, maybe. And Brad Dourif is covered in more shit and
I
just
never,
talking.
I never really thought about this though. Like, what was supposed to be the catalyst for this creature? Like, why produce the eggs that have the face huggers and then transition over to this? Like, did they ever say that? I don't remember.
I think Brad Dourif. Somehow, like they they were experimenting on the queen, I believe, to
Okay.
make her give birth to creatures like this, so that I think because to skip the face hugger egg chest burster phase to go straight to a new weapon, a full grown alien.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they thought it'd be a quicker way to have their weapons like she's pregnant, go straight to a full blown alien. I guess that's the thinking behind it. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
Your
then
guess is good as mine.
that begs the question: then why would they have that creature kill the queen?
Well, I don't think that was their purpose. I think this creature, because now it's more human, now it's less of a hive mind.
Okay, I
I
can
think
see
that's
that.
the result they didn't expect. I guess
Okay.
like Ripley is more alien, and now the alien
Mm-hmm.
is more human. So now he's thinking for more for himself or
Mm-hmm.
itself, and not so much this hive mind to protect the queen. It's
Mm-hmm.
like fuck you bitches,
And
I'm me.
they would technically share DNA because they cloned her from her blood, and then like so it's got some of her DNA in the alien. So
I guess they're going for like a brother sister type of thing. I guess.
or mother son
I guess
type of thing.
or something.
Yeah. But if we have to do all that guessing, I mean that's so convoluted.
I'd rather watch Son of Godzilla than this movie because that movie I'd rather watch just it knows what it is more than this because it's not I don't think it's scary and there's a couple funny lines but a lot of comedy is just kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
It wants to be gory like Peter Jackson with but then it wants to have this like plucky crew that just doesn't quite work so like that movie is more in its was trying to do is more consistent than this in my opinion. So was this the part you're talking about as you were bored, or was it earlier? You said there's a
Oh,
section that slows down.
No, not so much this part, but just the whole like Brad Dourif talking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, them
talking a lot.
carrying Sigourney Weaver's character into their lair. Like you could have cut all
Yes.
that out and just jumped right to the creature getting on the ship.
Yeah.
Man,
Hey
that's
man,
bad. The effects are so.
if it was for the damn alien hybrid creature in this and Sigourney Weaver dry humping it, could have been okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also if everything didn't look like it was covered in shit and this ugly brown aesthetic, I like the score is forgettable. Even Alien 3, I could say I like the musical score. Here,
hmm
I think the score is completely forgettable. Winona Ryder's character, forgettable. And like you said, like Ripley doesn't do anything.
hmm
She doesn't do anything for the entire movie. What did she really do?
Nothing.
What what has she done so far in the hour and 43 minutes to help them get out of this situation?
I mean, she even stood there during the ladder
I
sequence.
You
Yeah.
still I said that earlier, yeah. I said yeah, she played basketball. Jack and shit and both left town. Like I said, this was the wrong director for this.
hmm
And I'm sure, yeah, I know he's done other stuff, but this was just also just not a good script.
hmm
Now, why was it taking him so long to crush your head? Like, crush Raymond Cruz's
Exactly.
head like that?
Yeah, in a split second. That's very suggestive, that shot of him sticking his fingers in that. Like,
Yeah. And that watch has probably one of those shots they had to digitally erase the damn penis vagina from the creature. Which again, I don't know why a director would think any studio would let that go on for their $70 million
right?
theatrical movie. I will shoot this creature and his penis and vagina will be flopping around on Sigourney Weaver. Sounds like a Triple X parody, actually, but I don't get.
She's gonna make out with the creature.
That's what it looks like. And once again, gets sucked out of the goddamn airlock, except
hmm
with some CGI blood in there.
And she's supposed to have sympathy for it. She like cries or something as it's dying. Yet she had no problem sticking a shotgun in the xenomorph's mouth earlier.
Well, because this thing's more like her, and she doesn't really care much. It doesn't seem like she gives that much of a shit about the humans because she's not human.
That's
And I
true,
guess
yeah.
the closest thing to her is this chupacabra looking albino. There's another thing Jason X took. I mean, you didn't see where the person gets sucked down. The when Uber Jason comes in, the girl gets sucked down,
hmm
and this thing gets sucked out. So the weird fetish sex scene, the person being frozen and broken apart, person being sucked out and turned to mush. Digital General Removal is out the name of my new death metal band.
Oh man, those shots are so bad.
And for 70 million, why? I mean, there were films from 20 years before this with a fraction of budget, like 2010, the year we made Contact. The first two Alien films looked better.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It makes no sense.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, like, who are we supposed to care among these four?
Right. And
because like Ripley didn't do. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess that was the best alternative, to just crash that ship into Earth, killing millions of people. But you know, it's neither here nor there.
Where did that ship? Now that I think about it, where did that big thing land? Hopefully, were there people living there, or
Right.
it landed in the Earth? What if it landed in, I don't know, this planet's version of Chicago or something? Just...
Yeah.
Awesome World Cup. You had the newborn action figure as a kid, though. The figures I remember is there was a time they were going to do a cartoon show of aliens in the early 90s.
Really?
With Hicks. Yeah, really enough with Ripley and Hicks and Apone. So it had nothing to do with the movie, but it was a cartoon of aliens. And I have see if I can find them. I have these little things that were worth the toys, but because Alien 3 killed off a bunch of them, like Hicks, they got rid of that idea. But actually, here we go. With each action figure, you had a piece of the story. So, like, you had this.
Oh, okay.
And then they had toys for this. It was supposed to be a cartoon. So, like, this was Bishop. With the sunglasses. And Apone would be alive, and it'd be like G.I. Joe with aliens.
What the fuck? That is
like,
crazy.
this is the crew. Because there's Bishop, there's Drake, Ripley, Hicks, and Apone. And they're all different kinds of xenomorphs. So like a bull one, and there's a praying mantis one. It was like G.I. Joe with aliens. This is going to be a cartoon. Like, here's the mantis creature.
Wow.
And let me see if it's in here. And yeah, each time you bought an action figure, it would come with this little comic book to show a story. Because, I mean, you had like Tatsu Crusaders, you had all those other types. So, I mean, if they did one for Tatsu Avenger, I guess this is even as crazy. So I know it's pretty small, but yeah, there's supposed to be a cartoon, but then Alien 3 killed that.
Yeah.
Before they went. I don't know if they got far in making it, but enough so that they did a toy line for it. But I don't know if they got farther than that. Yeah, look how badass Sergeant Apone is. Like, look at that.
Wow.
Hive War. Look at that, man. And yes, you are right. There was a gorilla one. And even had like kind of scorpion ones, crab scorpion ones.
Wow. I'm surprised that hasn't popped up in like Prometheus or anything.
and this is a snake one.
Hmm.
Obviously,
Yeah,
to sell more toys for more variety, but
yeah. But they kind of took that idea with Alien 3, didn't it? It comes out of a dog in Alien 3.
yeah,
Well,
it
depending
was
on which
a
cut you watch, I guess.
yeah, it was a bison, and then
Mm-hmm.
the dog later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, thank you, Mary Widow. Yeah, I mean, sorry I talked through the damn ending for that, but I like this more than that. So fuck you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a Rambo cartoon. Yeah, the Toxic Avenger cartoon, Toxic Crusaders, RoboCop. I mean, look how violent RoboCop is, and yeah, a cartoon of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Rambo. What's the story? First Blood. A guy coming home who is fucked up from the war,
Mm-hmm.
attacked by sheriff and his deputies, hunting them down in the forest. They'll push out everywhere you won't believe. And all of a sudden, GI Joe Rambo type of cartoon, The Force of Freedom. That's the '80s,
Yeah.
and I kind of wish this did get made because I would love to have seen it, but even just a novelty. But
You
uh,
can't do that now, though.
nah, apparently not in this PC age. Not just PC, but just I guess now you couldn't do it.
No.
Uh, yeah, I think I still have some of those figures. Uh, but yeah, now it's the end credits. It's the I guess what are your final thoughts on Alien Resurrection? Watch it again.
Um, it reinforces my earlier sentiments about Ripley not being needed for the film and that they could have gone a different direction. Would it have worked? I think so, with a different script, keeping some of the elements from Whedon's script, but a different director. And to me, I don't know about you, but like, did it really seem like he was that ambitious, this director, in making this? I think you said it earlier. It was a big budget movie. It's a part of a big franchise. Let me get my name out there. I can collect this huge check. It, I mean, creatively speaking, what he brought to the table was a hybrid of a penis and a vagina. Like, dude, that shows you where his head was.
He was trying to take his sensibilities, City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, other stuff, and put into this. And those two worlds just don't fit.
No.
Maybe some would say it's a nice try, but at the same time, I'm like, the script was flawed, the music was awful,
Mm-hmm.
some of the ship design was atrocious and
Mm-hmm.
brown and ugly to look at. Some of the models on the ships were ugly and cheap. But I mean, Roger Corman stuff. What was it? Galaxy of Terror. I've seen just as good models on that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ron Perlman has some fun lines. The Xenomorphs, I do think Aladelis Tumbleweed Jr. did some good effects on those.
Mm-hmm.
But even that's washed away with why is Brad Dourif doing kissing, ready to make out?
Right.
Like, okay, you want to study a xenomorph? That's really the best way to do it. Is just I don't understand it. Thank you, Alan Stanley. Love that they live. That's so cool. They live. I think it's they live. Maybe it's something else, but
No, that's They Live. That is a cool avatar.
that's really cool. Yeah, I have a lot of good notes on Dark Horse Comics. Yeah, but no, I mean ambitious. I don't know about that.
I don't
I
think
just
he
wrong
had any
fit.
real stakes in it, honestly. kind of just seemed like a gun for hire type thing.
Hmm. Yeah, just a sort of a very random choice as well. I mean, again, he wanted Danny Boyle. They wanted Danny Boyle. He said no. Peter Jackson. He said no. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, let's find someone. Can't really say it was a name. It just someone that would take the job. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And
Very,
considering who they
very.
had before, I mean, Peter Jackson, um, I think you said Danny Boyle. They also approached
Yeah, I meant Danny
Bryan
Boyle. Yeah.
Singer. There were some interesting choices, but he he seemed like the only guy that was willing to take it. So this is what we ended up with.
Oh, it's a mask. Wow. Very cool.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say about this film. I mean, Alien 3 killed the franchise. This didn't help matters.
Mm-hmm.
And the franchise was pretty much dormant and dead for a while until, well, Alien vs. Predator, I guess. That was what,
Right. Yeah.
2004?
4.
So 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It could get better with that. So.
Yeah. It's not the best, but definitely not the worst. I think we both agree Alien 3 is the worst of the first 4. Um,
Yeah.
I think as far as Romulus goes, I think that'll probably be another disappointment. I hate to say stuff like that because I'm not hoping for things to be good, but I'd like it to be. I don't want more bad movies of any franchise, even franchises that I don't even care about anymore. I think we just have enough bad movies out there already. But I know some people were talking about Neil Blomkamp. I mean, I would have liked to have seen what he would have done with it. I always liked all the concept art that I seen online from him. He
Mhm.
had a lot of really cool like sketches and ideas and stuff. I I don't know, man. Like it's probably just best to leave it. Like as a company, though, looking at it from their point of view, you have
It
an
prints
IP
money.
that's exactly you have an IP that makes money. Do you just leave it? I mean, of course, the movie fan in you, and you know, you're passionate about film. You're not part of the machine, but looking at it from a business side, what would you do with it? I mean, would you start over? I'm not even sure if Romulus is actually even connected to Prometheus or Covenant. Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
Hmm.
Um, where do you go? Like, is it best just to leave it? Again, looking at it from their point of view.
Well, at the end, there are companies like that, which, I mean, it's Disney overall that owns
That's
all this
true.
now.
That's right. Yeah.
They've been losing a lot of money, so they don't find anything to print money in a desperate fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And they found success with Prey. That's, I guarantee you, because of success of Prey, this has got greenlit because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as a business sense, they want to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't trust the world of filmmakers, writers, directors of today. Maybe just different sensibility, different mindset, different taste, different way they just make movies nowadays. It's just from the way they look to the way characters are to the
Yeah.
sometimes, especially with Disney, forced politics to the part of that making money is really to hone in nostalgia or find some way to bring in nostalgia, good natured vibes to people,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be similar lines, similar scenes, similar stuff that make you remember times of fondness. So hey, the younger people don't know about it, so it's new to them. But the older people, they get these electrons firing that, oh, that reminds me back to the day when I saw this, and that brings a bit of endorphins in my brain of
Mhm.
excitement. So nostalgia, that's why a lot of is apparent nowadays. Nostalgia at one point was a fun, not novelty, but it was a fun feel. Your nostalgia was it. Now
Oh yeah.
when they knew you could package it and sell it, it's
Mhm.
just a common commodity to print money.
Mhm.
So what was kind of in a weird way pure is now completely soulless. And I think a lot of films have a soulless quality. And hey, I get a lot of people like them. You know,
Mhm.
I bet you the Evil Dead Rise. I saw that trailer. Yeah, I know I haven't seen the movie. I haven't been requested it. But I saw that trailer marketing and went, where's the creativity? What makes this Evil Dead other than the name? I
Mhm.
have a friend who reviewed it, Michael Keane, the choice voice. He said it the same. Didn't care for the characters. Why is it called Evil Dead? Don't know why.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just one of those things where I did it in a business sense. And yeah, if I'm a business guy that just wants to save my ass and print the dollars, uh, you would hope they have a different mindset of me in terms of quality. And that's another thing that I haven't talked about is that what people in their point of view think is quality is much different from my own. And
Mhm.
I'm in a minority on it. So what else can I do? People thought Prey was one of the best Predator film and whatever.
No,
Wasn't for
not
me.
not at all.
But a lot of people did. I mean, a lot of people do. And that's the audience today, and that's who they cater to, understandably, because they're the ones that are giving the money.
Mhm.
I, I get what Uncle Bill was saying the other night. For those who didn't see it, it was a stream. Maybe I'm just of the age where this stuff just passes me by, and obviously, I'm not the audience for these movies
Mhm.
anymore.
Right.
So if that's the case, then what more can I do or say? They're
Right.
not gonna make movies for me or you or others.
Mhm.
Just not.
Right. Yeah, that time is long since past, like, that's over. But you bring up a good point with all that, and actually now I'm thinking about something even more in-depth question. Where do you think Raimi is when it comes to Evil Dead? Like, obviously, the guy has more than enough money by now from all of his successes with stuff that he's done throughout the 90s, even up to the 2000s with Spider-Man, doing a Doctor Strange sequel.
I would
He's
say
um,
ambassador, kind of like wrestler who's retired, but he's
okay.
on a Legends contract.
Hmm.
So they send him on to do publicity, shake hands, wave,
Okay.
like Sam Raimi. Hey, he actually going out there to do signings,
Hmm.
which you didn't think would happen 5 years ago.
Hmm.
Ambassador, goodwill. Hey, come along. Wish him luck. I got my. I mean, I'm doing Marvel films and such. Maybe dabble in this is a little bit of fun, but ambassador role, I would say, kind of like some of these wrestlers, much older in their career, they kind of do. They get paraded around. Hey there, maybe offer some advice here and there, and then move on.
Hmm. I
That's
just,
the way I look at it.
I mean, to me, now I don't know a ton about the rights for Evil Dead or just the whole thing, but I would assume that a lot of the control of that is through Raimi, maybe through his business partner. I think it's Rob Tappert,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and maybe Bruce Campbell, even to a degree. Have they lost the mindset for what makes an entertaining time with Evil Dead? Like, or are they just like you said, the ambassador role? Are they just shopping this around? I'm sure they care. They have to have some sort of a care for it. So, being that it's something that they know all horror fans love, horror fans especially, them shopping it around, trying to get these different takes on it, the stuff that they end up coming up with, because I believe the same thing happened with the last director, which was Fede Alvarez. Oddly enough, we're talking about Alien. He's doing the new Alien. Um, he was handpicked by Raimi, and this
Mhm.
new guy, same thing. So I just can't figure out where they are mentally with all this, because I haven't seen the new movie, but again, from the look of it, like where what are you guys doing? Like I don't understand what they're doing with this. Again, it's not a money
Well,
thing. They got enough money.
movie wise, what was the last Sam Raimi film you gave an a care for, whether you directed it or produced it?
Hmm, that's a good question. Because like I know him and his partner, they run what is it? Is it Ghost House Pictures? I think that's their production
Yeah,
company.
something like that. But even like
Um,
directing wise, how about just even directing wise? What was the last Sam Raimi film?
it definitely wasn't
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. I did see that, and that's the only part of the well, I won't say that, because I was going to say that's part of the only reason that I watched it, but that's not true, because I did think that the first Doctor Strange movie was pretty decent, and I like Scott Derrickson. I'm glad he's away from the MCU doing his own thing. We got Black Phone, that was pretty cool. Um,
I agree.
but geez, what did he even do? I didn't like the what was it? The Oz Great and Powerful. Didn't Raimi do that too?
Yep, yep, he did.
Damn, like I have to go back, like trying to think
Did you
what was
like Drive Me to Hell?
I've seen that once. I thought it was okay when I saw it, and I saw it back when it came out, and that was like 2010-ish, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was a long time
so
ago.
around there.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even really think about it that way.
So
Yeah,
I mean, you have a guy that's again been doing like Marvel films or
mhm,
Spider-Man threes and Doctor Strange twos and Oz
mhm,
Great and Powerfuls and
mhm.
you know.
Now, what's your thoughts on him as a filmmaker? I mean, not necessarily just in the last 10 years as a collective career. I mean, he's got some great films. I mean, obviously, Darkman is awesome. A Simple Plan is probably his masterpiece. The first
Mhm.
Spider-Man even is fantastic. So,
I don't know. I mean, I like Dark Man and I like the Evil Dead trilogy. Simple Plan,
mhm,
good one.
mhm.
Spider-Man 2 I can watch, but I don't watch that a lot. I mean, good back then, just nowadays I don't really I can't think of the last thing he did that impressed me, to be honest. It's been a long time. And that happens with a lot of people. I mean, hell, my favorite is John Carpenter, and he retired or did The Ward, which I didn't like. So
Yeah.
sometimes directors just get old, get tired. Oh yeah, he did The Quick and the Dead. I didn't mind it for what it was,
Oh,
but
yeah. Okay.
there's a reason
Yeah.
why I forgot as well. I didn't hate it. I've seen better westerns.
Mhm,
There's definitely more style over substance.
mhm,
Some nice style. I mean, Sam Raimi, I don't know, like Evil Dead trilogy to me is his pinnacle. Dark Man is good. Again, after that, like again, Simple Plan on mine. I don't know his Marvel superhero stuff. I've never been huge on like other people were.
mhm.
But that's just me.
Uh, so you'd lump him in sort of the category of the aged filmmaker, like a Carpenter or any of these other guys that have sort of lost their way towards the end of their career. That's really weird to say, because I never thought about it that way until you just mentioned like what was the last great thing that he did. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean that happens with a lot of directors. Ridley Scott. What was the
Oh
last
yeah,
great thing he did?
that's right. Yeah.
Happens with a lot of them. Spider-Man 2 I thought was okay, but as a big Spider-Man fan, I still have issues with To Be or Not to Be McCrier. I have issues with that's the best of them, but not to go too off tangent. His interpretation of Peter Parker is not my interpretation of Peter Parker. I
Okay.
get what era he's referencing, but that's not the era of comics I grew up with. I grew up more in the 80s Peter
Hmm.
Parker as a man, so I get where he's coming from, but while they just Spider-Man, I don't think raindrops are falling on my head and bopping along and freeze frame.
Hmm.
That's just not the Spider-Man I'm thinking of. So I don't think Spider-Man 2 is a bad film. Doc Ock, that actor, Alfred Molina, does a great job. It's
Hmm.
just, again, it's not like I don't go back to rewatch that a lot compared to a lot of other movies or even comic book movies.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's bad. It's just, you know, as I prefer other action films compared to superhero films anyway. But
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
hate all superhero films.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I consider them more like adventure, more so than action. I
Mhm.
know those can kind of go hand in hand. Um, but do you think it's more of like the magic's not there anymore? Like the spark's gone. They're not inspired. All the best stories they've told them already. Um, Somebody like him, do you think there's a way back, or are you just done with like giving any of these guys a chance that have already sort of been, I guess, past their prime?
I would go Impress Me.
Okay.
And how many of them, how many directors have made a great comeback? I'm not saying there's none. I'm saying, but how many
Mhm.
have? Like, how many do you think have made a great comeback?
That's a really good question. It's few and far between, that's for sure. God, I can't even think of
Like, look at
anybody off
Tim
the top of
Burton.
my head.
Look what happened to Tim Burton. You went to Dark Shadows and Dumbo and Alice in
Mhm.
Wonderland, and this guy doing Ed Wood, Sleepy Hollow, Batman.
Mhm.
Neil Blomkamp, he did District 9. I like that
Right.
movie. Then he did, Chappie and
Mhm.
what was that film, Matt Damon, Elysium, which
Mhm.
left a lot to be desired.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of, I mean, love Wes Craven's early work. He went on to do My Soul to Take
Mhm.
and Scream 4. And
Right, yeah.
like, how many, I love George Romero, but then, Survival of the Dead, Diary of the Dead.
That's true, yeah.
Not a lot of directors that really maintain that. I would say sadly, like Tony Scott did, and then he had issues with his head and he passed away because
Right,
of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
he did.
Mhm.
So, and I liked his last film, Unstoppable. So
Mhm.
that's one
Yeah.
director. That's why I always like Tony Scott more than Ridley Scott.
Mhm.
Uh, like, what other directors? I mean, when you think about from the gamut of directors, Tarantino, okay, Tarantino. I like Once Upon a Time in
Mhm.
Hollywood.
Mhm.
Maybe that I'm more curious about.
Do you ever think he ever had a falling off point? People always shit all over him for Death Proof, but I like Death Proof. I could see how it would be considered one of his weaker films, but then he comes right back with Inglorious Bastards, which I thought was well written, well done, stuff like that. But and then Django, that
Yeah,
was pretty entertaining.
I
Hateful
couldn't
Eight.
ID and then Glorious
Mhm.
Bastards, and
Mhm.
I did not like Hateful Eight. So
Okay.
for me, that was okay for me personally. That was one like I don't know, and I like
Mhm.
Jane Doe, but it's pretty long, and uh, but I was really surprised by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
Mhm.
I thought that was a nice welcome change. So okay, that's when he came back for me, so to speak. So
Okay.
I'll say that. And I
Okay.
always liked Death Proof. Yeah, I liked it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's Well, obviously, I'm a fan. My name. Yeah. I can't even really name anybody that's had like the comeback. That's kind of sad if you think about it. Pred is mentioning Cameron. Yeah, see, like
Uh,
when it comes to that, like him saying that statement about he'll never make another movie in the real world again, he'll only tell his stories in Avatar. That's ridiculous. Considering the first 5 films of his career, if you don't count Piranha 2, um, are just great. They're really great movies, and he didn't need an entire blue screen, green screen set where nothing is fucking real, and then he's kind of lost his mind anyway. He said that shit about like testosterone as a toxin, or fuck that guy, man. I was such a big Cameron fan. I'm sorry to say that, but like, that's just how I feel. It just
I
it's
agree with you. I agree with
it's
you.
so ridiculous to say something like that, and it's just a shame where he's gone, because I think he still has the talent in him, but he doesn't want to do any more real world films. He says he'll only tell his stories in the land of Avatar. So yeah, he's kind of dead to me now. I do like
For me,
Titanic though, I
fuck,
will say. That's not a bad film. I recently saw that again.
fuck Avatar. I'll say to
I'm
you. Fuck.
The dialogue in
Uh,
Avatar is bad. Really bad, in my opinion. Visually, of course, it's got a lot of great high points, even for a full-on CG fest.
yeah.
But I don't care about that franchise at all. So, like I said, he's kind of dead to me, his career.
Unobtainium. It was the element they're looking for. Unobtainium. That was the fucking plot point. I, yeah. Yeah, I
Ex-
mean, James Cameron, for me, the last film I appreciated from him was True Lies. After that, it just wasn't for me.
Mhm.
Wasn't my cup of tea. Uh,
What
but
a
yeah,
missed opportunity with Titanic, though. They could have made that a heist about the damn diamond on the ship. I would have rather seen that. I always thought that, like, dude, you got this diamond, people are trying to find it, make it a diamond heist movie, all set on the Titanic.
well, that one I won him is Oscar.
Oh yeah, of course.
He was looking for.
Yeah. Thoughts
That's what
on
he's worried
Nolan?
about most.
Somebody just
I
mentioned
like
it.
Memento. I like Memento. I didn't mind Dunkirk. My favorite is Inception.
Same here.
Tenet. I didn't hate it. I didn't
Mhm.
love it. Kind of in the middle of Tenet.
Okay.
Uh, people already know my thoughts on this Dark Knight trilogy, so
Mhm.
it ain't for me. Wasn't
Yeah,
for
you.
me.
I remember you saying you weren't a big fan. Um,
No.
it briefly. Could you elaborate why? I'm so curious,
Well,
because
like
I
Batman
rarely hear people
Begins,
say that.
like Batman Begins, I think the action scenes are terrible, and I don't think Nolan knows how to shoot a fight scene in those movies, especially in the first one where, as Batman, it's so cut so heavily you can't tell what's going on.
Mhm.
And Christian Bale, I think Batman is in the title, and when he sounds so ridiculous,
Okay.
hey, how's it going there? And he's like, "I'm very hot." It's like I get there's more to the movie, but it's the title character, and I'm not scared or frightened. It's yeah. I'm like,
Drop the
come
gun.
on, man. How's it going? What's the
Yeah.
trigger? Yeah. And then The Dark Knight, I don't hate the film. Heath Ledger is the best part of it. I do think Heath Ledger absolutely overshadows everything else. I like Aaron Eckhart, but his Two-Face looks ridiculous. I think that could have been done practical effects, but the CGI I don't think looks that great. Uh, I think there's that movie. There were parts I thought could have been cut out. The whole bit where he like goes to not Japan, China. He goes somewhere to kidnap someone or get someone back, and I don't think that needed to be in there. I don't think it added much anything. And also, I'm such a cynic. I didn't buy the ending where those prisoners would be like. I think those prisoners would just grab the shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get what it was going for, though. I get Nolan's idea. It's just in this world, it's trying to be more darker and serious. I get what he's trying for, but it's like it was hard for me to buy. But that's the cynical bone in my body. I'm like, no, those prisoners. There'd be someone be like, "Fuck, did you?" Oh, sorry, Batman, you lost. Joker was right. I think with some of those prisoners, I know this Tiny Lister Jr. may rest in peace, but someone would like grab his legs and then they would. And then Dark Knight Rises, I thought Bane, Tom Hardy was like Sean Connery if he did Darth Vader. Hello, Batman. You need to walk up the dark. What are you doing here, Batman? What culminates in that movie is okay. If you're a football player and you catch a fucking football, how are you not hearing a goddamn whole football field collapse? And you're like, I'm going to score this touchdown. You're not hearing this fucking Nagasaki Hiroshima bomb behind you, and then he turns and he drops the ball. And I'm like, I know you're in the zone, but it's like, I'm like, there's a lot of little things that add up. Like, your back is broken, but then you're climbing up and you fall, and it doesn't hurt you. You know, he fucking fell and the rope caught him, and like there's nobody to make sure he doesn't escape. How the hell did he get back into Gotham? Who took the time to make a fucking fire emblem on the side of the building? Who had the time? And also, can someone explain this to me? They have the city under siege, right?
Right, yeah.
The cops are underground, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this like a matter of months that goes on?
I'm not sure how long that's supposed to be, honestly. I really can't
Why don't
remember.
they kill the cops underground? They have the whole city hostage. Why don't you just go in and kill the cops? And how come the cops come out of there even though they've had no food? They're probably shit for health. And yeah, Batman, we're going to help, and we're fighting like we just got out of the spa, and we're going to fight. And Catwoman like kills Bane. Like your main villain dies in a blink of an eye. When I first saw it, I turned away, I looked, and then I'm confused where Bane is. And it's like, you missed his death. I'm like, what? Yeah, rewind, go back. Oh shit. Because she's in the vehicle, shoots him. Like you blink and he's dead. I'm like, that's your main villain. And what the fuck? For a lot of it. And like the ending, it's like he blew up and he's dead, but he's not dead. He faked his death, but then some people are like, well, maybe Michael Caine's imagining it, or no, he's really alive. And the guy's code name being Robin, I'm like, that's Robin? Like that felt forced, like to make Joseph Gordon-Levitt like, we gotta have Robin in this. And what did he? I don't know if he did enough to earn Batman's trust to let me give you all my shit, and I'll trust you to care for Gotham. It's just a lot of issues with that film for me. And the fight scenes, I don't think were that exciting. As a guy that grew up with a lot of fight scenes in movies, those fight scenes just aren't exciting to me. I thought the action in Inception were more exciting compared to this. The sound effects, the punches, they didn't really impress or excite me for a film that got that much praise, at least for me. So
that's a really you made some interesting points, but like I find it funny you say that because all of the reasons and things that you mentioned, that's the same way I feel about the Batman. Can't
Oh,
stand it.
okay.
Not a fan. I'll never watch it again. Not for me. So I get where you're coming from. Um, that's a lot of that is how I feel about the new Batman movie. So
Oh, okay.
I get you.
See that I'm the opposite. That film to me was what I wanted out of Nolan. Like that film, I like the way
Hmm.
Robert Pattinson sounded. I like the way he looked. I
Hmm.
like the fight scenes, action scenes better. Uh, the music, the I just liked that more.
Okay.
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I was just I was really disappointed with most of that movie. I mean, if not all of it.
Okay.
I will say Pattinson was great as Batman. I like that he is Batman the majority of the movie. That was a new and interesting choice.
Hmm.
But I think for me, Paul Dano is terrible as the Riddler. I mean, his monologue when he's in prison is awful. His acting is just so bad. Every like when he's getting arrested, he's making that stupid fucking face and like, dude, he drew a question mark in the foam of his cappuccino. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, that's Batman and Robin shit right there. Like, come on. So, I mean, and
That didn't
even
bother me. I could buy that more than someone drawing a Batman on the wall of a building while the whole city's ready to blow up. And I'm like, who did that? Who had like 85 bombs to make a giant Batman signal on the fucking side of the building while the city's under siege? Like, who did that anyway?
mhm,
Was it Batman? Was it
I
a
guess it was
survivor
supposed
just
to be.
bored? But that's
Yeah,
cool. I mean, that's fine. I didn't mind Paul Dano.
yeah, yeah, his whole performance really bugged me. And then like the fact that he's gone for like the last half of the movie in the final act, Batman's fighting henchmen, a bunch of fucking like random guys that are taking up a cause for a guy they don't even know, and his big plan is to flood the city with water. As if you can't
Yeah.
just leave the city, just leave. Everybody's like running in different directions and oh god, there's so many things like issues I have with that movie. I don't even want to spend. I could spend like half an hour talking about my problems with the movie.
I could buy that
Um,
chaos after what happened with toilet paper. So I don't. I can buy people being that much of chaos to not know where to go. If toilet paper alone makes them go insane, or lack of toilet paper, and it didn't bother me because I fear a fight with the Riddler's not going to be much. So I understood what I was going for, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, the the whole thing with him putting people in traps. I don't need to see cosplay of Jigsaw. How many fucking scenes does he do this with the tape? And he's like looking at the tape, and it just I think the next movie will be better. I really like Matt Reeves's like ideas and approach for everything, but just in the end,
Hmm.
it didn't come together. I thought Carmine Falcone was really wasted, and he's just kind of in the movie. They do nothing with him. The Penguin is cool. I like Colin Phil's performance. Like that looks cool. The makeup and everything. That was solid. Um, I don't know. Just the chase scene wasn't entertaining. The whole thing with the car didn't care for that. Um, oh God, the worst part. Pattinson as Bruce Wayne is horrible. Like it's the level of like Parker in Spider-Man 3. Let me like hang my hair in my face so people know that I'm emo. It's just that's not what I think
I
of
wouldn't
Bruce
say
Wayne
that
as.
because
Dude,
Peter
he's
Parker is
moping
like
the whole
also
movie.
dancing and shit.
That's true, but
So
at least
Peter,
he shows some excitement. Like Bruce Wayne is not an emo guy. Like he's sad the whole movie. I kept laughing when he popped up because I'm like, does he ever smile? Like you're not happy about anything in your life? Like You don't have to mope the whole movie. It I don't know. That's just me though. Like, I could see how anybody in the chat would disagree. I know a lot of people love it. I see why.
Yeah.
I always see two sides to every movie. I completely get it, but just for me personally, it wasn't for me.
It's cool.
But yeah,
Get the fuck out. That's fine. That's no fun. That's no but.
yeah. The Penguin show. Nah, I could take it or leave it. Might be cool.
Mhm.
Might not be.
But yeah, we've been going on for a while. It's almost 3 hours. It flew by. 2 hours and 50
Oh yeah,
minutes.
I see. Yeah, it is. Holy hell.
So yeah, it's about 11 p.m. where I'm at. This is a lot of fun. Definitely do this again sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I can have the time, maybe for a different film that we like. One suggestion, I had 3 suggestions, and one popped up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Was perhaps Stephen King's Graveyard Shift.
Yes.
A much
Definitely.
better Brad Dourif movie.
Much better.
Than
Yeah.
this one. When that would be? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to tell you I thought of a few movies, but I'll just send you a message on those.
Okay.
And sort
Sounds
of
good to me.
the theme that I thought of was sequels that are actually good. The first film
Okay.
is pretty good, but just wanted to go with a sequel theme. So part 2.
Okay.
And I had 3 choices, but I'll leave the chat wondering and I'll send you a message on that.
Okay, I look forward to it. But leave him one more.
Yeah.
But thank you, people, for stopping by. Thanks once again, Preminator, for the request. Yeah, happy rest of Alien Day, which I've heard before, but I always forget about. So it's kind of like hearing it for the first time. Thank you for taking your time, Stuntman Marq. Really fun.
It was
And
a
with
pleasure. I always have fun with you, dude. I love talking on here. It's always a blast.
And then, for what I understand, unless anything happens, I believe Friday, Uncle Bill will be having us on his channel, Dead Pit Radio.
Yep.
Dead Pit. I think 9 p.m. Central, or I can't remember the time.
I think he said 9.
Maybe 10. Yeah, about 9. So if you want to see more of us on Dead Pit's channel, I believe Uncle Bill will finally tell the story of what happened with his internet. Apparently, it's a hell of a story. I'm on, I guess, like a Q&A style, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And for those who want to stop by, feel free. And thanks once again, Premier.
We got to make him.
We'll see you guys later.
We got to make him do the X-Files commentary.
Yeah, the I Want to Believe.
We got to do it. I just think it'll make the watch more entertaining with the 3 of us.
To rip that Band-Aid off, exactly.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. Take care. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Later.
Later.